There is this annoying trend on some Facebook groups of sharing sales figures, but they do it without context. What one vendor can do in a meal period is dependent on so many factors, and we're going to get into those factors today on 10-Minute Food Truck Training. Hi, and welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore, founder of foodtrucktraining.group. Today we're looking at Facebook group posts that are intended to inspire and maybe educate. Well, I think they are. I'm really not sure why they post these. Anyway, those posts, they have a screenshot of a sales summary, sometimes from Square, sometimes from some other POS system. And the author then goes on to brag and boast about how awesome they are. And they might even give a little bit of insight on what they accomplished to achieve the sales level that they feel is just amazing. The problem is these posts lack context. You don't really know much other than there's a sales number. Things like location, menu, and then the pricing of the menu have more to do with these kind of sales figures than actual marketing or serviceability. So let's break down a recent post that was on one of the other group. Many of you will probably recognize it. So there's this one really loud vendor that loves posting, bragging about how awesome he is. And this particular day, he posted what he said is one of his better days. And it had a top line sales of over $3,200. And that's impressive. But let's talk about the full context. The $3,200 was parked in front of an extremely popular brewery. And that brewery is located in Santa Monica, California. Santa Monica, California has one of the more dense populated areas in the U.S. They have 10,000 people per square mile. So think about that. I teach people to check the population density within 3 miles of where they're going to set up. So that means within 3 miles of where this dude sets up, there's 30,000 people. That's bigger than most of the cities that you guys vend in. That's within a 3-mile radius. Do you really think that you can't be successful? You'd almost have to work to not be successful with that many people around you sitting in front of a brewery that's extremely popular. So, $3,200 is not impressive. But let's explain why it's not impressive. So when you look at that post, can you see that the playing field for that particular post is not tilted in your favor? It's tilted in their favor because you probably don't live in Santa Monica. You probably don't have one of the more popular breweries in your area that's going to draw that kind of people. And you certainly don't have 30,000 people within 3 miles of your business. This particular author often says that social media doesn't work because Los Angeles, California, blah, blah, blah. Well, it doesn't work. And here's why it doesn't work. Because there's like 18 million people in the metropolitan Los Angeles area. They don't need social media. They can see your freaking truck. You don't need to advertise because you've got like 10 million people driving by it every day. So you can't say social media doesn't work unless you actually use social media and you use it the way it's intended. And that's for people that don't have 18 million consumers around them to draw from. So let's talk a little bit about the demographics in this area. We already talked about the number of people. Let's talk about another important number, and that is the spending that these folks have. The average income exceeds $149,000 a year in Santa Monica, California. Compare that to the average anywhere else in the U.S., and it's around $53,000 to $60,000. So they more than double the amount of income. That means they have a lot more disposable income to eat out. They don't mind paying more for what they're eating, and they don't mind the overpriced food because they make a whole bunch of money. So you see the playing fields get a little tilted more in the favor of it's easy to make money in Santa Monica, California. So far, the location is creating the success. The vendor has nothing to do with it. You could set up a hot dog cart there, and if you could turn out the food quick enough, you could do that easily. So it's not anything the vendor's doing, it's the location. So this is a real estate thing, location, location, location. Actually, it would be harder to fail than it would be to succeed with just those two numbers alone. The population density and the amount of money that people have for disposable income. So now let's look at the menu so we can start comparing apples to apples. The menu is simple. It's burgers and chicken, ground turkey, and a vegetable patty. And the prices range from $10 for a simple burger up to $16 for some of the doubles with some of the special stuff that he puts on it. And then if you want French fries, they're $5 or $6, and then a drink's $2. So that would put the typical combo that people tend to get, sandwich, fry, and a drink, ranging from $17 to $24 a person. Now, I know that a lot of y'all are thinking I can go to McDonald's and get enough food to feed 2, maybe 3 people on that, and you're exactly right. Again, the location, they don't mind spending that kind of money for food that it's basic. It's all it is. Nothing exciting about it. So let's just say they have an $18 check average. So we're going to go on the low end, $18. So you take $18 and you're going to divide that into $3,200, and that leaves 178 guests for the 4 hours of service this particular truck says it did. So that's 44 people an hour. Now, I know to a lot of small vendors, that seems like a whole bunch of people, and you would probably be thrilled to have that many people come in an hour, especially that consistently over 4 hours. But given what I know about their menu, what I know about how they prep things well ahead and store different meats in broths and other things to keep it moist, all they're doing is assembling. So that is a ridiculously leisure pace to only handle on average 44 people an hour. When I talk to people and help them get their food truck set up, I always teach them your immediate service goal should be to work to get 1 guest per minute, to be able to serve 1 guest per minute, which that's slow, but at least it keeps your line moving. So that means you're taking care of 1 guest every 60 seconds. So if you toss out the dollars and look at the guest count, the playing field gets a little bit more level again, because now it doesn't matter what they're spending, it's how you can move them through your line. So now you're looking at his 44 compared to the potential of 60. And remember, that's just the first service goal I give people, 60 people per hour. So when you look at somebody who's bragging about the number of people they can put through in an hour, I know that may seem like a whole lot of guests to take care of in an hour, that 44, to a lot of small town folks. And I do know a number of food vendors that would be absolutely thrilled with that guest count. But given these folks in Santa Monica, their menu and their prep methods, that's an extremely leisurely pace. I have literally made tens of thousands of burgers and other sandwiches, so I know exactly how long it takes to assemble a burger. Their prep method is to pre-cook all of their food and then store it in a manner that keeps it moist. I don't have an issue with that. So that means all they're doing is assembling. And see, I understand speed. I've worked in restaurants a long time, and I participated in speed contests over the years. And I know for a fact that a person can make a properly portioned and visually appealing burger with 7 toppings in under 13 seconds. I did it day in and day out. Once you practice doing things right, you can go ridiculously fast and it look picture worthy every time you put it out. But the trick is you have to make yourself practice. A lot of people don't do that. So think about it this way. The 44 guests that he's taking care of is taking care of 1 guest every 82 seconds. So if it only takes 13 seconds to make the food, what are the cooks doing for the other remaining seconds? The other 69 seconds. So it's a very leisurely pace. I teach people that their first service goal should be 1 guest every 60 seconds, which is still leisurely. Remember, it's the first service goal I give people, but it is something to aspire to. The folks that take me seriously and try to put 1 guest through every minute are going faster than 82 seconds per guest. So you see, the playing field gets a little bit more level when you throw the dollars out and look at the number of people you're moving through the line, because I can guarantee you that the pricing on some of those burgers will not fly in other parts of the country because they're too expensive. Why do we worry about the dollars? We need to worry about the guest count, because that makes it even from person to person. A sales discussion is only meaningful as a teaching tool when we talk about guests per hour. This is a people business. We are in business to serve food to people. We market to people. And when we understand that is when we realize that we can make a whole bunch more money when we deal with people. So looking at the dollars, the top line dollars, that's pointless. That's just a way for you to stuff your wallet and brag about how rich I am. You are in the people business. So talk about how many people you can move through the line in an hour. That's what gets me excited. And that's what should get you excited, because each one of those people has an average check tied to them. If I can put 100 people through an hour, which is possible, it's not easy, but it is possible. If you can put 100 people through an hour and you multiply that by whatever your average check is, that becomes a number everybody can get excited about. Whether you have a $6 check average or you have a $20 check average, it's the people coming through your line that matter. Once you understand that, your business starts to explode because you market to people. So when you look at somebody bragging on their awesome sales, just break it down to an into a guest count. Ignore their numbers. How many people did you serve an hour? That's what matters. If you're enjoying the podcast, please consider hitting the support link and giving a monthly donation, even if it's only 99 cents. Remember, it's not the gift, but the thought behind the gift. And I definitely cherish any support that I get. If you like being around like-minded positive people, join our Facebook group. It's called Food Truck Training. The link will be in the description below. There's a whole bunch of people there that are willing to help and support every member. If you need one-on-one coaching to help start or grow your business, check out my website. There'll be a link in the description for that as well. You guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next podcast.